Mitch McConnell has once again proven that he doesn't give a single fuck about working class Americans because his stupid, corrupt ass just killed any hopes of getting a pre-election stimulus package because he just called the Senate to go for vacation. So Mitch McConnell has officially killed any possibility, any hope at all of a pre-election stimulus package because he decided to send home the Senate for vacation while millions of working class Americans continue to struggle because of the economic damage that this COVID pandemic has inflicted on them, which is no fault of their own. People are struggling. They need stimulus checks, which would have been in a stimulus package. Stimulus checks of $1,200 per individual. They're not getting that. They're not getting additional unemployment benefits, the $400 plus up that was included. They ain't getting shit for that. And they ain't get small businesses. Small businesses are not going to get additional PPP loan money. So small businesses are going to suffer severely. They're already closing down. COVID cases are going up as we're going to winter, so they're only going to continue to close even more. There's estimates that I think it's like 40 or 60% of small businesses, of small restaurants, can close down within the course of the next 6 months. That's fucking insane. We're going towards living in a world where all your mom and pop restaurants that are at the heart of your community are going to close, and big businesses are just going to come in and buy up the cheap fucking commercial real estate. This is politically fucking stupid on McConnell's part. I mean, it's a fucking no-brainer to give people money the week before an election. But they're so stuck in their free market dogma bullshit that they can't even realize that the pragmatic, politically savvy decision here would have been to give people money, give people the stimulus checks, help small businesses not close down, because once they close down, it's a lot fucking harder to get small businesses to then come up again, for people to start new small businesses. Most small businesses go out of business their first year. Most small businesses fail. So these small businesses that have not failed are failing because of COVID, not because of bad business practices. No, they're failing because of COVID and because of the economic damage that has come from that through no fault of their own. So these businesses who are at the very core of the heart of their fucking communities are closing down through, again, no fault of their own. Working class people are going to struggle, no fault of their own. And the Republicans said, you know what, let's go on vacation. And it's not like the Democrats have been any better in this situation either. Nancy Pelosi clearly didn't want to get a stimulus package done. Nah, she wanted to wait until after the election. She did not want to give Trump the win. She wanted to play politics with people's lives. And because she can't feel the pain. She can't feel the pain that working class Americans are going to suffer from these next few months. Just like fucking McConnell can't, because they're both aristocrats. Neither of them give a damn about working class Americans because they aren't working class Americans, because they're out of touch aristocrats. They don't give a fuck. It's simple as it is, they just don't give a fuck. Pelosi was more than happy to play politics with this. Yeah, she'll try to get a deal done later on, but she would not give Trump the win, and it's fucking bullshit. So Trump's at fault because he didn't even put any pressure at all on fucking McConnell. He's supposed to be this big fucking strong man, and he's the head of the Republican Party, but yet when it comes to getting a deal done that would be critical to his election chances, he's absent. He fucking his hands off. He's weak. So again, this is going to hurt people. It's going to hurt people hard, and this goes to show that our government, when the people need them the most, when the vast majority of people are in favor of a stimulus package, they couldn't get it done. What does that say about our democracy right now? Doesn't say much. Doesn't say much. Or at least doesn't speak highly of it. 3 schools of thought that I want to go into that talk about whether or not it would be a good idea to give stimulus money in an economic downturn which we are suffering through right now. There's a classical school of thought, there's Keynesian, and then there's MMT, also known as modern monetary theory, which is popularized by Stephanie Kelton. Classical economics is outdated And most economists don't practice it anymore. And that is the whole idea that the free market controls everything. The free market should be worshipped like God, and that the free market does no wrong, so government should never get involved under any scenario. This is the kind of stupid ass thinking that leads people like McConnell and aristocrats like Ted Cruz to say, you know what? No, it would actually be a bad thing to invest and put money in the hands of working class Americans in the middle of a fucking economic downturn. It would be a bad thing to help small businesses stay alive through this economic downturn, which it was no fault of their own. That would be a bad thing, because that would be interfering with the free market. It's fucking bullshit. Most economists know it's bullshit. There's no evidence to support it, but yet they continue to follow this bullshit free market dogma to the very end, which it will be the very end, because Trump's gonna fucking lose because of it, and Mitch McConnell is not gonna have his nice little Senate majority seat after this election. Most likely. Now, Keynesian economics is something that aristocrats like Nancy Pelosi and Obama believe in, a lot of the Democrats believe in, and it's the idea, and it's most economists now practice it. You know, there's this famous quote saying that everyone's a Keynesian now, because Keynesian economic school of thought, it comes down to basic idea on fiscal policy that when an economic downturn happens, you stimulate the economy, you keep businesses alive, you put the money in the hands of working class Americans so they could take that money and go spend it at those small businesses or even other big businesses, fine. And then that helps stimulate the economy. They spend that money on businesses, those businesses do well, and then they don't have to lay off their workers. So it stops this vicious cycle of people getting laid off, less money being spent, more people are going to get laid off. So you put in a stimulus to stop it from fucking cratering down. But again, our leaders have chosen not to do that. The other major school of thought on this, new player to the game, is MMT. MMT says that don't even worry about budget deficits at all. Spend that money and stimulate that money whether you're in a recession or whether you're even, the economy is strong. The only time that you have a problem with budget deficits is once you get inflation. So that's MMT. So 2 out of the 3 economic schools of thought on fiscal policy say, yes, pump some fucking money into the fucking economy right now. It's a no-brainer. The only school of thought that would say otherwise is the classical school, and that is outdated, discredited, has zero evidence to fucking back it. The only people that back it are dogma fucking fallen free market idiots. So, now I want to talk about what's going to happen. What are the hopes of having some kind of stimulus package soon? So, there's this time between the election and inauguration. Biden's inauguration, let's be honest, which I think is going to be January 13th, something like that. So we have a few months in between election day and inauguration. Can a deal get done? Well, on the Republican side, maybe Trump has a little bit of political incentive for his legacy, but really the impacts of that stimulus are not going to probably be felt until Biden comes in. So I don't see much political incentive there. McConnell's side, there's zero political incentive. Now that Biden's going to win, McConnell wants the economy to be as weak as possible, and then he's going to want to hold up anything he can, just like he did with Obama, to keep the economy in the shitter, so when the midterms come around, then the Republicans go ahead and, get more seats in the midterms. That's how this shit works. They have zero incentive to help the American people. Even when they had an incentive, they still wouldn't fucking help the American people, so we know for damn sure they're not going to help the American people when they don't have some kind of political incentive. So they're not going to do jack shit. On the Democratic side, Nancy Pelosi, I don't know which way she's going to go with this, but I think she does have a lot of political incentive to get a deal done before the election, or before Inauguration Day. Why? Because if you're Biden, you want to come in with the economy already rebounding. You don't want to have to use precious political capital as soon as you come in to just keep the economy alive. So if Nancy Pelosi could work out a deal, even if it's that $1.8 trillion deal with the $1,200 stimulus checks, the $400 plus up on unemployment, money for small businesses, if they get a deal done like that, also state and local money was in there as well. If they get a deal done like that, then the economy could start rebounding, or at least stay alive before Biden gets in. So when Biden does come in, he doesn't use his political capital on that, but he'll use his political capital to get a massive infrastructure deal down, which is definitely, what I'd be guessing would be his move. It would be the smart political move, and it'd be the smart move for the economy. So I do think that's what they're going to do first, is an infrastructure package. So if they get that stimulus deal done before, then they could do that infrastructure package. And if they could do that infrastructure package and add that on top of the stimulus that kept the economy afloat, then the economy could really be revving up going into the midterms. As well, if you think about it, the midterms, which are going to happen in 2022, that will be, hopefully after COVID is pretty much gone, or for the most part out of our lives in any significant way at least. So for Biden, you got to be thinking, if they could have that deal done, that stimulus deal done before inauguration, you get that infrastructure deal done right off the bat, and then COVID gets better over the course, all of 2021. Let's say it's pretty much, for all extensive purposes, done with by the end of 2021. Going into the midterms of 2022, when people are going to remember under the Republican rule that, the economy is going into the shitter and that COVID was fucking up their lives. Well, going in 2022, with the economy, revving up, bouncing back, being strong going into that election, and with the COVID basically done, that puts Democrats in a very, very strong position going into the midterms. And if they could be strong going into the midterms, that's huge. Republicans have a lot of vulnerable seats. Democrats have to defend only 12 seats going into the 2022 midterms in the Senate, while Republicans have to defend 22 seats. And a lot of those Republican-held seats are competitive. They're in Wisconsin, they're in Florida, they're in Pennsylvania, they're in Ohio, they're in North Carolina. So if Democrats could actually gain seats in the 2022 midterms, which I think is likely if we go down this path, if this is what I'm saying happens, then they'll be in a very strong position, and Biden actually might get a lot done as a president, which, I am skeptical of, but this is definitely a possibility. So that's what you gotta be thinking. Those are the political implications. The fact, whether we get a deal anytime soon, I doubt it. Probably, I would say, because again, the Republicans have no incentive to get a deal done. We're most likely going to get stimulus checks and a stimulus probably sometime in February. So until then, hold on. And again, fuck you, Mitch McConnell. Fuck you, Nancy Pelosi. Fuck you, Trump.